If my wife had $10, she'd spend it all on me. But on the day she got pregnant, I chose to divorce and disappear, and left her with a huge debt. To avoid the creditors, she hid every day while pregnant. Tired, she slept under bridges. Hungry, she dug through trash. Everyone called me a scumbag. But the truth is, I had a terminal illness. 5 years ago, I secretly went abroad for treatment, hiding it from my wife. But my condition suddenly worsened, and I collapsed on the spot. When I woke up, 2.5 years had passed, though my illness was under control. The next relapse would mean my death. After that, I had someone trek on my wife. I learned that when I left, the mother and daughter had suffered a lot, and she hated me. I thought for a long time, and decided not to disrupt their now peaceful life. After all, I could die at any moment. In the 3 years that followed, I endured painful treatments every day, and built a business empire with my remaining time. With my secret help, my ex-wife Lu Ruyan is now a top superstar. In 4 years since her debut, she's released 99 songs. Every single one is a hit. And today, all of Dacia's famous media and musicians, even the mayor of Modu, are sitting in the audience. Everyone is here for one reason. Lu Ruyan's 100th song is being released today. The prodigy Lu Ruyan debuted 4 years ago. Before her debut, she was as clean as a blank slate. Until today, fans and media only knew her name, Lu Ruyan. They knew nothing about her background. Online speculation was endless, and it always sparked huge buzz. It once became the #1 unsolved mystery in Dacia, and today, she will reveal her background at the press conference. In a small room not far away, a man in his 30s, pale-faced, watched the live broadcast on the screen. This man is the one who loves Lu Ruyan the most, and also the scumbag who hurt her the most. Today is the day Ruyan releases her 100th song. It's the last time I'll see her. Now, my time is short. I came here to see Ruyan one last time. I don't want to close my eyes with regrets. I'm holding a diary in my hand. On the diary, it says Scumbag Diary in big letters. This scumbag diary records everything since Ruyan and I met. All my scumbag deeds, and countless promises I made. Before I close my eyes, I want to relive every moment with Ruyan. Now, due to the worsening of my illness, I only have 3 months to lie. Seeing my pain, my best brother, Stone, patted my back. Who would have thought that the famous godfather of the Myo Dike industry would be such a lovesick fool? I looked up and said nothing. Myo Dike godfather? If it weren't for Ruyan, this godfather shouldn't have existed in this world. I didn't respond to Stone. I slowly closed my eyes. I was really tired. Now, I'm lie this, awake for a while. Then I'll sleep for a very, very long time. Now that I've seen her, I think I can finally get a good sleep. Stone looked at my sleeping form, reached out and took the diary from my hand, then signaled another person to push me back to the room. He walked alone to the center of the press conference. I am his best brother. At the end of his life, I asked him to find a reason to leave all my inheritance to Ruyan, but I also asked him never to tell Ruyan the truth. Stone has always listened to me, but this time, he didn't want to. At the press conference, a reporter stood up. Excuse me, Ruyan, you chose to reveal this at the release of your 100th song. Is it because this song is about the Shitari? What is the theme of this new song? Can you give us a hint? Lu Ruyan smiled, holding back her emotions, and said slowly, of course. The theme of this song is regret and missed opportunities. A burst of laughter suddenly appeared. What a regret and missed opportunities. Miss Ruyan, do you regret giving up on the scumbag you mentioned? Or have you really forgotten him? Everyone turned to look. The newcomer was a man in his 30s, with a weathered face, giving off a sense of having been through a lot. Lu Ruyan frowned. Of course I've forgotten him. I occasionally think of him, but I only feel ashamed. Good, the man said heartily. Then I wonder if Miss Ruyan still remembers this diary? Det, the man was Stone. He held the diary high in his hand. The words scumbag diary were instantly illuminated by countless camera flashes. Lu Ruyan looked up and saw the slightly yellowed diary. Her heart shook, and she bit her lip tightly. A hint of sadness appeared in her eyes. She was too familiar with this diary. The words scumbag diary were written by her, word by word, back then. Where did you get this diary? Ruyan asked. There was even a hint of urgency in her tone. For him, she had so many questions. Stone ignored her question. Instead, he opened the first page and read slowly. You said you locked the beauty of fireworks, but you feel sorry for their disappearance. Then I wish for a sky full of flowers, all night long, so you can't see them vanish. You said you locked the brilliance of the starry sky, but you don't know that star shines for you. I said the Milky Way is full of stars, but only with you is there light. Stone read those 2 beautiful lines softly. They were also very dreamy. Lu Ruyan stood frozen. Did he send you? Stone smiled. What do you hope for? Lu Ruyan didn't speak. Stone didn't mind and continued. If you want to know, go to the rooftop. I'll wait for you there. After saying that, Stone walked out without looking back. He seemed certain that Ruyan would follow. But Lu Ruyan stood there, feeling both scared and nervous. Was Yichio really upstairs? She wanted to go up, but she was afraid to face him. She had imagined their reunion countless times, but never thought it would be today. Ruyan, don't go. Have you forgotten how he hurt you? Ruyan's best friend, and now her ma Najio, Linyu, pulled Ruyan and said urgently, if there was one person in the world who could understand how Ruyan had gotten through these 5 years, it was Linyu. Lu Ruyan's heart trembled. Hearing Linyu's words, the bitterness of the past 5 years surged up. You didn't show up for 5 years after the breakup. Why are you coming back now? Lu Ruyan nodded, indicating to Linyu, don't worry, yeah. I have to go. I want to see that scumbag's pathetic state with my own eyes, and then mock him mercilessly. I won't have any pity for him anymore. I only hate him. After saying that, Lu Ruyan walked out. Lin Yu and the others immediately followed. Everyone from the press conference also followed behind. They were the elite media of Daxia, and naturally wouldn't miss this opportunity. Lu Ruyan took the lead, and was the first to go up to the rooftop. As soon as she came up, she saw the scene before her. Her expression was complex, as if she was stunned. The scenes before her eyes, the scattered lights, were nothing else but scenes from movies she had watched with him back then. They were poor back then. A laptop, a sofa, and the two of them could spend a whole night together. Ruyan was a crybaby. Every time she saw a touching scene, she couldn't hold back her tears, and she loved to torture herself. After crying, she would rewind to that moment and cry again. Back then, I always called her a little fool, and patiently watched it with her over and over again. But now, she couldn't cry anymore. Is that it? Just this? You think this can move me? You underestimate me. Ruyan shouted at Stone's back. She was now almost certain that all this was Yichio's doing, because only he knew about these things. But is it ridiculous? Where were you 5 years ago, when I was frantically looking for you? Where were you? Stone didn't reply. He crouched down, and used a lighter to ignite the fireworks placed on the ground. A loud bang. The fireworks shot into the sky like an arrow from a bow. In an instant, the sky was full of flowers. The fireworks exploded in the silent night sky, displaying a brilliant beauty. The ignited fireworks seemed to be a signal. Just as they were about to fade, everyone heard countless soft bangs from all directions. Then, countless fireworks flew into the sky. They came from all directions, instantly filling the entire night sky. People looked up, and in every direction, there were fireworks. The entire Modu was flooded with a sea of fireworks. This was definitely the largest fireworks display ever. Countless couples embraced, looking at the sky sweetly, as if it was their lot. The sky was full of fireworks, brilliant and beautiful. Gradually, 5 big words appeared in the sky, catching everyone's attention. Ruyan, I love you. 5 very cliché words, but also the most direct expression. As soon as the 5 words appeared, everyone knew who this fireworks show was for. Lu Ruyan's heart suddenly softened. If she hadn't truly loved, how could she still be obsessed? That day was the Lantern Festival. She said she wished this beauty would never fade. So he remembered her casual words from back then. For her, he made the whole city brilliant. The fireworks continued. Suddenly, there was another change in the sky. Those were stars. A person stared blankly at the sky, rubbing their eyes repeatedly. Am I hallucinating? Isn't it cloudy today? How did so many stars suddenly appear? No, those weren't stars. They were thousands of sky lanterns flying into the sky at the same time, giving the illusion of a starry sky. Everyone couldn't believe it. How many sky lanterns did that take? How many people released them at the same time to create such a scene? The city was illuminated by fireworks and sky lanterns. Tears suddenly welled up in her eyes. Others could only see the unparalleled beauty, but she saw the pain behind it. For all this, Yichio, with his terminally ill body, had worked for a month. How many times had he been in so much pain he couldn't stand, but still insisted on doing it himself? But she could no longer see that his handwriting had changed. Someone shouted, Lu Ruyan. Look up. The 5 words in the sky, Ruyan, I love you, had now turned into a question. Ruyan, do you regret it? Before Ruyan could react, Soft Mo Dike suddenly started playing on the rooftop. Ruyan turned around. Stone was walking towards her with a microphone. Do you recognize this tune? Ruyan took the microphone, and tears streamed down her face again. How could she not recognize this song? It was the 100th song she was about to release today. Unfortunately, it's not you. Ruyan didn't hold back. She started singing the song directly. Her gentle, watery voice rang out, and sadness flowed like a river, accompanied by its low tone. It made the whole rooftop feel oppressive. Everyone present was silent. They even forgot to forgot that today their main purpose was this new song. Ruyan's sad voice filled every corner. Unfortunately, it's not you who stays with me till the end. We once walked together, but got lost at that intersection. Thank you for holding my hand. I can still feel that tenderness. Everyone finally understood why this song was about regret and missed opportunities. Lop. Songs can always easily touch the softness in people's hearts. Unfortunately, it's not you, but thank you for being there. This is the final relief for so many loves. Many people started to applaud. Daxia had another masterpiece born today. Amid the applause, Ruyan began to sob. She sang through her tears, then turned around, constantly searching for the once familiar figure. She wanted to ask clearly, who made her lose so completely? Don't look. He's not here, Stone said calmly. He had seen Lu Ruyan's panic, and knew what she was looking for. But can't you be moved anymore? Do you still love him? Stone asked in a very flat tone. Lu Ruyan didn't speak. Her whole body was trembling. How could she not be moved? After all, she had loved deeply. After all, these were her childhood dreams. How could she be indifferent? Lin Yu, standing by, got anxious again. Ruyan, don't believe them. Have you forgotten the suffering you endured? Yichio is just a parasite. Now that he sees you're famous, he's using these fake tricks to move you. Once you really forgive him, he'll become a vampire and completely destroy you. Lin Yu's words also gained approval from the surrounding crowd. These chaotic voices naturally reached Stone's ears. His face turned pale. He detested these ignorant and self-righteous people. But among the hundreds, there would always be 1 or 2 who understood. An older reporter said, I don't know if he's a scumbag. What his purpose is, it's hard to guess. But this man probably isn't poor. He didn't come for money. Have you calculated how much tonight's fireworks cost? Old Chen asked. If I'm not mistaken, the fireworks set off today are all premium fireworks from Modu Fireworks Company. The unit price is over 4 digits, plus the scale and duration of tonight's display. A conservative estimate would be no less than 500 million. That doesn't even include the cost of the sky lanterns and labor. Adding everything up, the total cost is probably close to 1 billion. 1 billion? Does Miss Ruyan's current net worth even come close to that? Would someone who can casually spend 1 billion be a gold digger? After Old Chin finished the calculation, the whole venue fell silent. They had thought the fireworks show must have been expensive, but when Old Chin actually said the number, they were still shocked. A person with 1 billion, no matter where they are, is a giant. Would such a person be a gold digger? Stone still stared straight at Lu Ruyan. He wanted to know her answer. Ruyan smiled lightly. No matter how beautiful the fireworks are, they will eventually fade. No matter how good the past was, it's over, isn't it? Miss Ruyan, don't you believe that Mr. Yi Chio still loves you? Or that he ever loved you? Lop. Is that bastard worthy? I tell you, you better let that bastard come out. I promise I won't kill him. Lin Yu got anxious as soon as she heard this. She knew exactly how Ruyan had gotten through these years. She knew it all too well. Many times, she felt heartbroken and scared just watching. But Ruyan still got through it alone. And now this stone guy has the nerve to talk about Lop? Is he worthy? Stone ignored Lin Yu. He still looked at Ruyan. He wanted to know Ruyan's answer. He understood Lin Yu. Lin Yu had been with Ruyan for 5 years and had seen all of Ruyan's hardships. Naturally, she was dissatisfied with Yi Chio, but Stone had also been with Yi Chio for 5 years. He knew how much Yi Chio loved this woman in front of him, so he wanted to know if Ruyan, besides hate, had any lingering feelings. Even if it was just a little, he would feel that everything Yi Chio did was worth it. Ruyan's heart was a bit flustered. Stone's question seemed too sensitive, making her heart ache a little, but her face remained expressionless. After so many years in the entertainment industry, she had long learned to hide her emotions. For me now, Yi Chio is just a passerby. I am another passerby. We keep our distance. The best state is to never contact each other. Stone smiled. He suddenly felt that his brother's efforts were not worth it. Miss Ruyan, actually, some things, what you see with your eyes isn't necessarily true. If you don't cherish something now, you will definitely regret it when you lose it. Regret? For him, that's impossible. Never in a million years, Ruyan said harshly. 4 years ago, at Modu Children's Hospital, Ruyan, Lin Yu suddenly shouted, stopping Ruyan. Ruyan turned around, clenched Lin Yu's hand, and nodded to her. It's okay, yeah. We weren't planning to hide it anymore anyway. Today, I want everyone to know how much of a bastard this scumbag was back then. Now, everyone pricked up their ears. The scene was very quiet. Ruyan cleared her throat, looked serious, picked up the microphone, and said word by word, after the breakup, I frantically searched for Yi Chio twice. The first time was 2 months after the breakup, because I found out I was pregnant. The whole venue was in an uproar. When the truth was revealed, they could no longer stay silent, facing the noise. Ruyan waved her hand. People gradually quieted down. Then Ruyan continued. That's right. I was pregnant when I found out. I frantically searched for Yi Chio, because at that time, the past hurts seemed unimportant. I wanted my child to have a father. I wanted my daughter to have a complete family, even though that father was so irresponsible. I called Yi Chio countless times, sent countless messages, and looked for every mutual friend we had, but there was no news from Yi Chio. I was desperate. I comforted myself, thinking he must have had some unspeakable difficulty. But just as I was comforting myself like that, a good friend told me that she saw Yi Chio walking out of a hotel with a very pretty girl. At that moment, my heart was completely shattered. I understood. I was wrong. I was the one disturbing his good time. Scumbag. How can there be such a disgusting man in this world? Many people couldn't help but curse. Lu Ruyan continued. I don't know if he knows. He doesn't deserve to know either. In the end, I decided to have the child. Not for Yi Chio, but only because I am a mother. I felt the connection between me and the child in my womb. The child is innocent, and I love him. Because of this child, my parents were completely disappointed in me. They kicked me out of the house. If Lin Yu hadn't taken me in, Guogua and I might have starved to death on the street. Everyone had already thought of this outcome, but they still felt incredibly heartbroken. Sir, Ruyan said to Stone, but now you suddenly tell me that he spent 1 billion just to make me smile. Do you know how I feel right now? I only feel disgusted. I feel he's a bastard. He's so capable. Then where was he when I was at my lowest? He's capable. Then where was he when Guogua needed him the most? What, now that he's had his fun in the world, he remembers his wife? Is he worthy? Hearing this, Stone really wanted to tell the whole truth, but he had promised to keep the secret of Yi Chio's terminal illness. That was his bottom line. So he explained one sentence. When he first broke up with you, Yi Chio wasn't as successful as he is now. But this explanation seemed so weak. It's not just about money, is it? I think it's about Lop, Ruyan said coldly. He never loved this child. No, Yi Chio is also the child's father. When he talked about Guogua, he was also full of happiness. You can't say that, Stone shouted anxiously. Is that so? Then when I looked for him the second time, Lu Ruyan wasn't in a hurry. She still asked calmly, but the gritting of her teeth still showed her anger. I was kicked out of the house, homeless. With Lin Yu's help, The child was born relatively smoothly, but at the same time as the birth, a terrible piece of news also came. Donghua had congenital anemia, congenital low blood volume. She needed an immediate blood transfusion. After testing, donghua had a rare blood type. The hospital didn't have that blood type. My family doesn't have that rare blood type. So the only one who could save donghua was her so-called father. Do you know how dangerous that situation was? Ruyan choked up a little. That heart-wrenching time. She still can't forget it. The doctor said if there was no suitable blood, then donghua might not lie past 48 hours. Ruyan started crying. Lin Yu gently hugged Ruyan from behind, gently patted her on the back. It's okay, it's all over. Ruyan, we've come through the bitter times, haven't we? Ruyan forced herself to hold back her emotions. She nodded at Lin Yu. When she looked up again, there was no sadness on her face. Instead, it was replaced by cold indifference. At that time, I searched desperately for Yichio. I went to every place he might have been. I asked everyone who might know his whereabouts. I even begged the girl he stayed at the hotel with. I had no other thoughts. I just wanted to beg him to save my daughter. I would give anything. Where was she then? When I was kneeling in front of his old company, being pointed at and gossiped about. Where was she? When our daughter's life hung in the balance. Where was she? Lu Ruyan's voice grew louder and louder. In the end, she was practically shouting. Some emotional people even started crying. They couldn't imagine a new mother. Still in her postpartum month, kneeling on the street, Ruyan calmed herself down, trying to steady herself. If the hospital hadn't suddenly gotten that blood type, donghua might not be here anymore. And her father never even looked at her once. Does he deserve this, after all these years? I never wanted to bring this up again. I'm only saying it today so you can tell him. Please, stay far, far away from my life forever. I don't need him. I don't need him either. And please don't bother me anymore. Stone gave a bitter laugh. He looked at Ruyan, who was pretending to be calm. He could feel her deep-seated hatred. Who's right and who's wrong? Who can really say? Even if Yichio had a million reasons, he still caused this stunning girl irreparable harm. Maybe she did show up. Stone opened the diary in his hand. He turned to May 13th, 2016. That was the night of Donghwa's surgery. Stone began to read softly. The weather was nigh today. I dragged my tired body and saw my daughter for the first time. My name is Yichio, an unworthy boyfriend and an unworthy father to my daughter. The first time I saw you, my heart melted. You were so small and so cute. A feeling of blood connection made me want to hold you. But just as I was about to reach out and hold you, the doctor stopped me. He said you were an apple chosen by God. God loved you too much, so he couldn't help but take an extra bite. So you were too fragile at birth, unable to be touched by any worldly dust. What a hateful God. My hands stopped in mid-air. Actually, at that moment, I really wanted to tell that doctor. This might be the closest I'll ever get to you in my life. This is my only chance to help you. This doctor stopped your father from holding you even once. How cruel is that for a father? But I didn't feel bad, because I knew soon we would become one. My blood would soon flow with you for the rest of your life. Wouldn't that be another form of protection? If you're lucky enough to know all this one day, please remember that Daddy loves you. Reading this, Ruyan suddenly screamed. What? This can't be. The one who gave blood to donghua. It absolutely cannot be him. Impossible. Ruyan didn't believe it. She couldn't believe it. In her heart, you are a cold-blooded beast. But now suddenly hearing that your daughter's life was saved by you, she just couldn't accept it, no matter what. Ruyan recalled the scenes from back then. The hospital never had the blood type, and she couldn't find you. Just when she was in despair, the doctor suddenly called, said a kind-hearted person also had the panda blood type, and was willing to save donghua. Ruyan knew how rare this blood type was. She had checked in the country for decades. No one had ever been found with this blood. But in her ecstasy, Ruyan didn't think much of it. She thought heaven had taken pity on her daughter. Afterwards, Ruyan tried to find this kind person, but the hospital said the person had already left and didn't want to leave a name. Now that she thinks about it, there were too many coincidences. But whether this is the truth or not, it's something Ruyan can't accept. She's hated for so many years, suddenly being told she was wrong. It's a complete upheaval of her life. No one in the room spoke. They also understood what the diary was saying. It was almost certainly Ruyan. The person who saved her daughter was Yichio. Stone continued reading. Daddy loves you just as much as mommy does. We both love you so much. It's just that Daddy can't watch you grow up. You will slowly grow up, slowly become a big girl. If possible, on that day, you must remember to tell Daddy in your dreams that you are healthy. And when you grow up, you must listen to mommy. Mommy is the person who loves you most in this world. She is also the most beautiful, the gentlest, and the kindest person in this world. All the beautiful words in the world aren't enough to describe her. Having a mommy lie this makes Daddy very relieved. How I wish I could see you one more time. But Daddy also feels so for mommy. Mommy has suffered so much for you. You must get better. Take Daddy's place, stay with mommy, and take care of her. Daddy begs you. Finally, Daddy wrote a song called Listen to Mommy. If one day you get to hear this song, please remember that it's Daddy's lop. Daddy loves you. The crowd was in an uproar. What? Listen to Mommy was Ruyen's song from before. Listen to Mommy is one of Ruyen's signature songs, right? It was written by Yichio. Does anyone remember the composer? I remember this song has no composer. It just says produced by Sunshine Music Company. Ruyen was now crying uncontrollably. She didn't want to believe this was true, but her intuition told her the one who saved donghua was Yichio, and it could only be Yichio. Stone closed the diary. Then he took out a piece of paper and placed it in Ruyen's hand. It was a blood donation certificate from 5 years ago. The donor column clearly read Yichio's name. Seeing those two bright red characters, Ruyen finally broke down crying. Her tears weren't for herself, but for donghua. While feeling pain for her daughter, she also felt a little comfort. At least donghua has a somewhat decent father. At least he's not completely despicable. Stone didn't speak. He signaled to a few people at the sound system on the rooftop. Soon, listen to Mommy. The intro of the song began to play. Everyone's attention was instantly drawn. Little one, do you have a lot of questions? Why are others reading comics? But I'm learning to draw, talking to the piano. Ruyen's sweet voice rang out. The lyrics seemed to be from a child's perspective, telling about all the grievances during growing up. This seems like something every child encounter while growing up. So, Yichio, were you imagining donghwa's childhood with this song? Since you love her so much, then why didn't you grow up with her? You need to know, if you had just shown up back then, even if we were drowning in debt, I would have been willing to go through it all with you. Ruyen couldn't stop her tears. Her hardened heart began to soften just a little. The song continued. Why do you have to listen to Mommy? When you grow up, you'll start to understand these words. When I grew up, I began to understand why I run faster than others and fly higher than others. In the future, everyone will be reading the comics I drew. Everyone will be singing the songs I wrote. Stone cried. This was his first time crying today. He clearly remembered when Yichio was writing this song. He was talking while writing. He said Ruyen has a strong personality. donghua will definitely suffer in the future. But donghua can't hate Ruyen. Ruyen is a good mother, the best woman. And Ruyen has suffered enough. So I have to tell donghua. Everything Mommy does is for donghwa's good. donghua can't blame Mommy. You started crying as you spoke. Your voice choked up. Without me by their side, what will they do? Two girls. What if donghua makes her angry? Ruyen has a quick temper. If donghua takes after her personality, what if they both get angry? No one would even be there to mediate their fights. Is just this one song enough? And will Ruyen find someone else? If she does find someone, and donghwa's stepfather bullies donghua, what then? Without a father, will donghua be bullied at school? What if donghua has a crush too early? If she's unlucky and meets a scumbag like her biological father, I wouldn't be able to rest in peace. Stone remembered that was the first time he didn't find you annoying. Every single word was the heartbreak of a father who wanted to lop but couldn't. Ruyen was hurt. But wasn't Yichio hurt even more? Ruyen can still be with their daughter for her whole life. When that song ended, many people were still wanting more. Have we been misunderstanding Yichio? Someone whispered. Ruyen's tears ruined her makeup, making her look pitiful. The softest part of her heart was touched again. Her heart ached. Where is Yichio? Where is he now? Ruyen, with teary eyes, looked at Stone and asked. Stone opened his mouth to speak, but before he could say anything, he was directly interrupted by Linyu. Ruyen, don't be fooled by their tricks. This is all just sweet talk. If he really loved you, why didn't he say it earlier? Even if he really was the one who gave blood to donghua, it was still something he should have done. Using what he should have done to move you. Isn't that ridiculous? Only Yichio would do something like that. Linyu coldly stared at Stone with disdain. Am I right? This gentleman did 100 bad things. And then did just one good thing. Does that make him not a bad person? Besides, donghua is also his daughter. Shouldn't Yichio have done all this? Facing Linyu's questioning, Stone just smiled and didn't answer. Shouldn't he? He absolutely should. She is Yichio's daughter. Yichio saving her is only right. But is it really that simple? Not necessarily. No one knows how much Yichio sacrificed for this blood donation. He himself was a cancer patient. To prevent cancer cells in his blood, Yichio underwent the most brutal treatment before donating. It wasn't just chemotherapy. That kind of treatment is excruciatingly painful. Have any of you ever felt a needle piercing through bone? If so, add this. What if there was no anesthesia when it went through? If that still doesn't help you understand the pain, then think about this. A large nail being driven through your thigh, through the bone of your thigh, and then pulled out from the other side. Yichio underwent such a puncture back then, more than once, to avoid anesthesia affecting the blood quality. He refused anesthesia. He gritted his teeth. He even shattered his teeth. But he didn't make a single sound because he said his blood was unclean. It had to be cleaned. He couldn't let his daughter's blood be contaminated in the future. No one knows how many times he went through such treatment. When the doctor finally said his blood was healthier than a normal person's, he still grinned. A bloody grin. Stone only glanced at it once and couldn't bear to look again. So even if a father's love is great, who can endure such pain? After the transfusion, Yichio's body function severely declined. He could never stand again. For 5 years, the last 5 years of his life, he could only lie in a wheelchair. So those who don't know the truth shouldn't speak so lightly. Yichio never mentioned any of this in his diary. Maybe he really thought it was just his duty. In a small room not far away, I slowly woke up in my wheelchair. Lately, I've been getting tired easily, falling asleep at the drop of a hat. I know this is a sign of my impending death. Opening my eyes, I looked at the screen in front of me. I had arranged this long ago. This fireworks show was my final gift to Ruyen. Even though I can't show myself to Ruyen, I still want to see her het pie smile. So I had someone set up a camera in advance, so I could watch it with my own eyes. I didn't expect it to be over already. I stared at the screen for a while and said to myself with a bitter laugh, then Then I clicked on the replay, wanting to watch the fireworks from the beginning. I wanted to see the whole process. The fireworks were Ruyan's dream. I wanted to see her smile. The 60 started from the beginning. At first, I was still smiling, but after just a few minutes, my smile froze. The fireworks were beautiful. The starry sky was brilliant. But my heart panicked. In the 60, Stone was holding up the scumbag diary and reading it. This scene instantly made my pupils dilate. My heart began to race. Stone, what is he doing? I said frantically, my hands groping around, trying to find my phone. I had to stop this. I can't let Ruyan forgive me. If Ruyan knows the truth, and I'm already gone, then Ruyan's life. How deeply would this persistent girl be hurt? Thinking of this, my hands became even more frantic. The blanket on me was knocked to the floor. My phone fell to the ground. I bent down to pick it up, but I couldn't bend over at all. The attendant beside me quickly picked it up for me and handed it to me. I opened my contacts and was about to call Stone. I can't let Stone say everything. When a person dies, it's light lamp going out. Even if there are so many misunderstandings, what does it matter? My trembling fingers just couldn't dial. My heart was anxious. Suddenly, everything went black, and I fainted again. The phone screen was still on Stone's contact page. In the end, the call was never made. The doctor beside me immediately checked my body anxiously. After a while, he breathed a sigh of relief. On the rooftop, Stone was being questioned and was a bit unsure whether to continue. Suddenly, his phone rang. Stone glanced at it, immediately walked quickly to a corner. He answered the phone but didn't speak. He just listened quietly. 2 minutes later, he just softly said, I understand. Then he hung up the phone, but his face grew colder. At first, he was still struggling with whether to continue. He still felt so re for this country's first diva. Now, he feels even more so re for his brother. Stone stared intently at Lu Ruyan. Do you think so too? Do you think he never loved you? Stone asked coldly. But have you forgotten that you were the one who proposed breaking up? You were the one who dumped the so-called scumbag Yichio. Did Yichio ever do anything wrong to you? You broke up twice, which time wasn't initiated by you. And Yichio, do you have any evidence? Did he ever do anything to betray this relationship? Stone's questioning caused an uproar. Everyone had expressions of disbelief. Stone's counter-question left Ruyan stunned for a long time. Stone was right. She was indeed the one who proposed the breakup first. But was it all her fault? Ruyan shook her head. Before she could speak, Lin Yu immediately retorted. Don't slander people. Do you think Ruyan didn't know what Yichio did back then? If he hadn't broken Ruyan's heart, Ruyan loved him so much. Why would she break up? Is it fun to lie through your teeth? Stone said coldly. Who's twisting the truth? I was right there with Ruyan at the time. No one knows the truth better than me. Lin Yu's eyes were practically shooting fire. I was also with Yichio at the time. I can guarantee Yichio never did anything to harm this relationship. He tried his best to cherish this relationship, but in the end, all he got was the word breakup. Stone didn't back down either, because he clearly remembered. It was because of that Yichio became depressed and fell ill, and was soon diagnosed with a terminal illness. So Stone had no good feelings towards the first diva. Ruyan gave a contemptuous smile. You were with him? Did he tell you what he was doing back then? Does he know why I wanted to break up? What do you know about what happened 5 years ago? Ruyan was full of grievances. Her thoughts drifted back to that night 5 years ago. Ruyan began to speak slowly again. That night, 5 years ago, was the first time I ever drank alcohol. The sting of alcohol made me dizzy, and it also made me finally make that decision. After Yichio's countless acts of neglect and cold violence, and even flirting with other girls, I finally decided to end this relationship. Have you thought it through? Are you really going to break up with him? My best friend from years ago, now my Manhwa, Lin Yu, asked solemnly. Lu Ruyan nodded, and downed another glass of beer heavily. Tears flowed involuntarily. This is my second breakup with Yichio, and it will be the last. Maybe we shouldn't have gotten back together after the first breakup. Back then, we had a fight and broke up. My mother was afraid I wouldn't get married, so she immediately arranged a blind date for me. That was the time a thorn was planted in my heart. I originally planned to just humor my mom and get it over with quickly. But when my blind date slowly walked over, my heart shattered. My boyfriend, who had just broken up with me 3 days ago, holding a single rose, slowly sat down in front of me. I could see he was a bit nervous. His hands were so fidgety he didn't know where to put them. His first words were, since we're so fated, why don't we get to know each other again? My name is Yichio, and just like that, we got back together. But until now, I've never dared to ask him why. Just 3 days after we broke up, he showed up at a blind date event. Lu Ruyan took a big gulp of wine and said slowly, my heart is in pain. A man who truly loves you. Would he go looking for someone new in just 3 days? I lied to myself countless times, but this incident is like a thorn. I can't forget it. After we got back together, he wasn't as devoted to me as before. There were many times he came home very, very late. I'm afraid of the dark, but I still forced myself to go find him. And then, saying this, Ruyan couldn't go on. Her voice choked up, and then I saw him sleeping alone in the car. Isn't that ridiculous? He'd rather sleep in the car than come home. He knew I was waiting for him, and he still didn't want to come back. Do you think he loves me, or does he hate me? Maybe he didn't leave me, only because I was his meal ticket. I, Lu Ruyan, am just Yichio's meal ticket. Ruyan's tears were now flowing. She continued, sobbing uncontrollably. Actually, I knew long ago that he didn't love me anymore. He stopped loving me a long time ago. He had already started talking to other girls back then. Once, I accidentally saw his phone. There was a girl asking him, "When are you going to tell her? Tell me, what is he going to tell me?" What else could it be? When Yichio saw that message, I saw him smile. I haven't seen him smile that happily in a long time. That smile was the one he had when he loved me, and when he chatted with me. I thought he would always be mine. The funny thing is, it wasn't just me. Lu Ruyan finally gave a bitter smile. Pretending to see through everything, she continued, "Love takes two. You can't force it. Since he doesn't love me anymore, it's time to break up." Ruyan finished. Only then did many people understand the whole shitari. Stone smiled, looking at Ruyan. What a pitiful, helpless act. I also have a similar shitari here. I wonder if Miss Ruyan would be interested in hearing it. Lu Ruyan frowned. Are you still trying to argue? Those were all my personal experiences. Could they be false? Truth and lies. Who can really tell? Miss Ruyan, do you not want me to speak? Stone asked coldly. Let her speak. Let's see what she can say. I don't believe he can. Shamelessly say you're slandering him. Lin Yu suddenly got anxious. Her tone was somewhat angry. Stone took out the diary. He flipped to the page from 5 years ago. He began to read it word for word. 5 years ago, at a blind date event. This is already my 3rd day waiting here. Ruyan has deleted all my contact information, and I've been out of sorts for 3 days. This is my last hope. Ruyan once said that her mother has been forcing her to go on blind dates. This blind date event was recommended to her many times by her mother. Hard work pays off. Finally, I waited for Lu Ruyan. At that moment, God knows how excited and nervous I was. The person I longed for day and night was right in front of me. I wanted so badly to rush up to her, but I was afraid of scaring Ruyan. This complex emotion made me restless and anxious. Luckily, the outcome was pretty good. When I walked up to her trembling, holding a rose, I nervously said, "Since we're so fated, let's get to know each other again." Fortunately, Ruyan didn't object. She agreed to get back together. But Ruyan doesn't know how much that incident affected me. I never told Ruyan how panicked I was during the 3 days she was gone. At that time, Stone asked me, "Since you love her so much, why did you break up in the end?" I don't know. I really don't know. After we got back together, I felt I should be more mature, more responsible. At that time, we had just started a Myo-Dai company. We invested all our savings. Sometimes I even had to rely on Ruyan for meals. So I worked even harder. I wanted to give her a future. Back then, we often worked overtime until after 2 a.m. Maybe it was around that time that something went wrong with my body. I worked too late, and Ruyan is a light sleeper. If I went home too late, I was afraid of waking her. Many times, I would drive the car downstairs and sleep in it. Then, thinking of her cute sleeping posture, I would even smile in my dreams. But I remember every single thing about Ruyan very clearly. I was always preparing surprises for her. All my friends know I have a bit of social anxiety. But for her, I asked many female friends for advice, wanting to give her a surprise. Once, a girl asked me, "When are you going to tell her the surprise?" I looked at my phone and smiled very happily, like a child who had just fallen in love. "My surprise is almost ready," I replied. "I'll tell her once I get the concert tickets. She loves singing so much." I thought she would be very happy when she found out, because besides the concert, I was also planning to propose to her. I wanted to give her a future. I prepared for this proposal for a long time, wanting to tell her I love her in the most romantic way. I just never expected that on the day of my proposal, it would be the day she said she wanted to break up. It all seemed fated. Many people were shocked. They suddenly felt sympathy for the man in the diary. They couldn't understand Yichio's feelings at that time, but they could imagine what kind of scene it was. At the moment I wanted to love you the most. Losing you was the most cruel bitterness. Stone continued reading. I thought I was mature enough by then that I could give her a better life. It was time for us to get married. That day, I walked up behind her with a big bouquet of roses, ready to give her the biggest surprise. Ironically, almost at the same time, I said, "Let's get married." And she said, "Let's break up." The roses fell to the ground, like a funeral. From then on, we went our separate ways. Stone finished reading, and the whole room fell silent again. Lu Ruyan stared blankly into space. She didn't know whether to believe all this. For so many years, she had told herself countless times that Yichio never loved her, that everything was just a game. Now, someone was telling her it wasn't true. How could she accept that? Maybe he made up the whole shitari to glorify himself. If he was really that great, Ruyan wouldn't have broken up with him, Lin Yu said, but her tone lacked conviction. The details are almost the same. The plot is almost the same. Who could make up such a perfect shitari on the spot? Think about it. The shitari itself is illogical. If Ruyan misunderstood, then why didn't Yichio explain? Are these things really that hard to explain? No, they're not. So he wrote them in this so-called diary, just to make himself look good. Lin Yu said righteously. Stone bit his lip. In the end, he didn't say a word. He didn't know how to say it. That Yichio didn't explain because he was diagnosed with a terminal illness. Stone shook his head. He didn't want to tell everyone about the terminal illness yet, but his silence triggered an even more vicious attack from Lin Yu. Why aren't you talking? Can't explain anymore? No matter what, Yi Qiu can't hide the fact that he's a scumbag. He made Ruyan suffer so much. He made Guogua endure so much pain. Do you know that? Back then, Ruyan was pregnant with a big belly. Lin Yu, don't say anymore. Hearing Lin Yu say this, Ruyan hurriedly tried to stop her. No, I have to say it, Lin Yu shouted. Ruyan, I know you. You're softening again, aren't you? Why don't you learn from your mistakes? Don't fall for his tricks again. Have you forgotten how we lived back then? Lu Ruyan opened her mouth to say something, but in the end, no sound came out. Lin Yu was right. She had softened when she heard every detail in the diary. Her heart began to waver. What she missed was always Yi Qiu's infinite tenderness. Seeing Ruyan's expression, Lin Yu became even more indignant. She absolutely could not let Ruyan fall into that scumbag's arms again. They had finally achieved everything they had now. Their good life had just begun. Lin Yu would never allow anyone to destroy it. Mr. Stone, am I right? Lin Yu asked coldly. Since you can't answer, let me ask you another question. Have you ever thought about how hard it is for a girl to be pregnant before marriage in this society? Even if the girl made a huge mistake, the father of her child hides and doesn't show up. Is that what you call lop? Stone stammered. You don't know. Lin Yu directly interrupted him. You couldn't possibly know. Let me tell you, when Ruyan found out she was pregnant, the baby was already 3 months old. Her parents gave her 2 choices. Either abort the baby, or get out of the house and fend for herself. Ruyan was just a young girl back then. How could she have known what to do? She said she didn't want to abort the baby. Several times, she walked to the hospital door, and it was as if she heard a voice calling her mommy. She cried and said she couldn't bear to let it go. With no other choice, she had to leave and find a place to lie on her own. She thought she could work hard, and with the child, she wouldn't starve. But this scumbag, who you claim loves her, wanted to destroy even that. Just when Ruyan found a decent job, those despicable creditors showed up. They were holding Yi Qiu's loan contract, with Ruyan's name as the guarantor. They said Yi Qiu had disappeared, and since no one was paying the debt, they came to her. Those guys were completely heartless. They tracked down everything about Ruyan, her job, her family, even her relatives' contact information. Ruyan had no money, so they went after her parents, her friends, and her workplace. As a result, Ruyan's parents fell ill. Ruyan's friends and relatives all avoided her like the plague. Ruyan lost her job. Almost every penny she had was taken by those animals. Mr. Stone, have you ever experienced a pregnant girl having to sleep on a stone bench in the park at night? Have you ever experienced the bitterness of a daughter whose biological father is sick, but she can only watch from afar? Have you ever experienced a woman being rejected by everyone, standing on the rooftop of a 30-story building, ready to jump at any moment? No, you wouldn't understand. Because you're not worthy. You're just a dog. Yi Qiu's dog. Only barking for him and talking nonsense. So please go back and ask your master how he plans to repay these debts. Can he even afford to? Lin Yu's words grew harsher. It was clear how much she hated everything from back then. Her words left everyone present stunned. That scumbag deserves to die. Stone didn't pay attention to the crowd's comments. His expression grew darker. He didn't care about Lin Yu insulting him. What bothered him was the time period Lin Yu described. Debt. He had heard about that time. He had heard Yi Qiu talk about it. When Yi Qiu talked about it, he almost ground his teeth to dust, his nails digging into his flesh, his whole body trembling. I hated my own helplessness back then. Those loans were indeed borrowed when I started my business, but I had already paid them off. I didn't expect those guys to keep a copy. At that time, I was already terminally ill, being rescued in the hospital. I made a will, transferring all my assets to Ruyan. By then, I had a considerable amount of money. But somehow, those greedy people found out. They got the news that I had died, and that Ruyan had inherited a huge fortune. So, blinded by greed, they did those outrageous things. In the end, I didn't die. The doctors snatched me back from death's door. But when I learned about Ruyan's suffering, I almost died again. Of course, my revenge followed. Those who bullied Ruyan were all sent to prison by me. They're still doing hard labor now. At that time, Yi Qiu didn't know about these things. You can't blame him entirely, Stone said weakly. He still didn't reveal Yi Qiu's illness. Lin Yu knew Ruyan, and Stone knew me. My health condition is my bottom line. Without permission, Stone didn't want to cross that line. Ridiculous. Is that your explanation? I think you just can't make up anymore, Lin Yu said coldly. Then let me tell you. It's not just that. Ruyan, without a job, couldn't even afford basic prenatal checkups. She couldn't get basic nutrition. This caused her daughter to be born with congenital anemia. She also had severe after effects. Do you know what the after effects were? During that time, Ruyan vomited all night long. Her whole body was swollen. She also had to take care of Guogua. Due to malnutrition, she had no breast milk for Guogua. To buy formula for Guogua, this silly girl actually went to wash dishes in a restaurant, scrubbing cold plates with icy water. Do you know what that means? When I found her, I asked her why she was so foolish. She said she wasn't foolish because it was the only job that allowed her to carry Guogua on her back while working. Guogua had just had surgery and couldn't be away from her mother. At that time, Guogua had just been discharged from the hospital, and Ruyan hadn't even had a single day of postpartum rest. Where was she then? Where was Yichio? So even if he has the biggest excuse, it's useless. Lin Yu shouted, defending Ruyan. She believed that anyone who truly accompanied Ruyan through that time would never forgive that man. The damage was done, and there were no more excuses. Stone gave a bitter smile. Every time he heard Ruyan or Lin Yu's tearful accounts, tears would well up in his eyes. It wasn't that he wasn't strong, but it was just too hard. This damn heaven made both of them suffer so much, gave them countless unavoidable hardships, and left them both battered and bruised. But at least Ruyan had Yichio's secret protection. What did Yichio have? Once life begins its countdown, every minute and every second is torture. All he had was despair. Stone opened the diary. In a moderate voice, he slowly read, September 10. This is the first day of our breakup. I didn't sleep all night. I don't know what I did wrong. I miss you like crazy. I don't know why. Yesterday I knelt before you with roses, crying like a child. But you never told me the reason for the breakup. Am I not good enough? I can change, Oku. September 13th. I can't take it anymore. I hate that red exclamation mark. I tried everything to send you countless messages. I waited stubbornly on your way home from work, but you didn't reply, and you didn't show up. September 15th. Ruyan. I've decided. I have to find you. After 5 days, I'm sure of one thing. I can't lie without you. I must find you. Even if you hate me, I will win you back. I'm sick of this life that's worse than death. September 30th. Ruyan. I'm so I give up. No, I'm just giving up for now. There's something wrong with my body, but I believe I'll get better soon. I'll be away for a while. Take good care of yourself. Reading this, Stone paused. Then he looked up at Ruyan. I don't know why, but after you broke up with him, you deleted all ways to contact him, and moved out of your former home. It's not that he didn't want to explain, but did you ever give him a chance? Ruyan closed her eyes, tears streaming down. Maybe she was just young and impulsive back then, always thinking that deleting someone would delete the memories, always thinking that hiding would make her forget, always thinking that what she saw was the truth. So she turned off her phone, pretending to be carefree and traveling alone. Lie in those old movies, thinking she could be fine on her own after a breakup. But was she really fine? If she had been a little less stubborn back then, would the outcome have been different? Ruyan shook her head heavily, forcing herself not to think about these things anymore. What was wrong with his body? Stone didn't answer. He couldn't answer. Back then, Stone and I both thought the problem wouldn't be that serious. That with treatment, maybe there was still hope. Who knew that what happened next would completely exceed everyone's expectations? Stone lowered his head and continued reading the diary. October 30th. It's been a month. I'm back. Ruyan has returned to the city where we lived together. I'm not leaving again, although I may never have you again. Just being able to breathe the same air under the same sky, and occasionally catch a glimpse of you, is the greatest happiness in my life. November 12th. I secretly went to see you. I sneaked out of the hospital. I've been sleeping a lot lately, but I still feel so tired. Today, I finally felt a bit more clear-headed, so I couldn't wait to come see you. Luckily, you didn't notice. You still lie going to the cafe we always went to. Seeing you alone, my heart aches. December 1st, you've lost weight. My heart really aches. December 20th. Today, the pain is so bad I can't sit up. It really hurts. Let me hold on until the new year. New Year's wish. Find someone who loves you to lie with. A bunch of kids. The wedding I owe you, I'll make up for in the next life. I'm so No, this can't be true. Ruyan couldn't hold back anymore and shouted, interrupting him. Tell me, what happened to him? What happened to him? What next life? What? Hold on until the new year. What happened to him? Where is Yichio now? I don't want to hear this. Tell me. Tell me now. Ruyan was going a bit crazy. She was shouting and screaming frantically. No matter how she listened, the diary was screaming death. Stone looked at Ruyan's state, feeling a bit sorry for her, and also a bit regretful. He felt sorry for Yichio. He didn't know how Yichio had gotten through that time. The person he loved had broken up with him, and his own life had been sentenced to death. Just thinking about it was cruel, let alone Yichio actually experiencing it. He also felt regret for Yichio. If Yichio could see Ruyan's frantic state now, if he could see it, he would probably be comforted. This woman, for whom he had given everything, at least still cared about him. Yichio isn't dead. He's still alive. Stone said slowly. That was all he could say. So, is his illness cured? If he's cured, why didn't he come find me? And for a while, I was desperately looking for him too. Why didn't he reply to me? Where is he now? Ruyan asked urgently. She desperately wanted to know everything about Yichio. Even if she hated him, she had once loved him. Even if she was heartless, she was still Guogua's mother. Stone shook his head. It's only temporarily stabilized. As for why he didn't reply, it's just fate playing tricks. When he was looking for you, you weren't there. When you were looking for him, he was probably undergoing treatment, and couldn't reply to you. It's a huge joke. Like countless cheesy TV dramas, it's as if there's no excitement without misunderstandings. As for why he didn't come find you, let me read the diary to you. Maybe you'll find the answer. Stone opened the diary again. January 15th. Another month has passed. Ruyan, we've been apart for 3 months and 5 days. Today, I want to tell you some good news. My surgery was successful. That means I can at least stay with you for a while longer. I'm so happy. I want to see you one more time. Once I can get out of bed, I'll come find you. February 1st. Today was one of the angriest days of my life. Ruyan, I'm so I never imagined you suffered so much. Those despicable bastards. I did borrow money from them, but I had already paid it all back. I didn't expect them to keep a copy and use it to threaten you. Don't worry, Ruyan. I will make them pay. February 22nd. Today is the first day of the new year. Ruyan, I have good news for you. Those bastards who bullied you have been sent to prison by me. Anyone who dares to bully my woman clearly doesn't want to lie. February 25th. Forgive me for ultimately making this decision. Ruyan, I won't come looking for you anymore, but my lop will always be with you. March 1st. I'm so I don't know how many times I need to say I'm so to make up for my guilt. If Stone hadn't let it slip today, I wouldn't have known you were pregnant. I'm such a bastard, a scumbag. Ruyan, I want so badly to see what our child will look like. March 22nd. Ruyan, let me tell you a secret. The job you interviewed for today, I secretly helped you get. You'll never know about it in your lifetime. Otherwise, you'd definitely punch me. You'd say, don't meddle with my health now. It can't take your punches. The bot of this job is my friend. He'll take good care of you. Of course, I also believe you'll do great. Hang in there. I wish you'd punch me again. April 28. Today I went to secretly watch you again. You're already on leave. Our Bai is about to be born. I suddenly feel so nervous. Is this what being a father feels like? I saw you smile. It was beautiful. May 1st. Today I came to your parents' place. I thought for a long time, but I still didn't have the courage to go up. I'm afraid of causing you trouble. I also know how much you long for their forgiveness. It's all my fault, this bastard. But I secretly did one thing. I bought them the mobility scooter they've been reluctant to buy. I saw your dad smile. I think he'll definitely forgive you. I wish I could call him dad too. May 25th. Today is Guogua's birthday. It's her first day in this world. I'm at the hospital, but I won't let anyone see me. The moment Guogua was born, my heart soared. It was an indescribable feeling. I suddenly saw the continuation of my life. From then on, the woman I loved most in my life has one more. But don't worry, Ruyan. You'll always be number one. May 27th. Why? Damn heavens. You throw all the suffering at me. Isn't one person enough? Why torture my daughter too? The moment I heard Guogua has congenital anemia, my whole world collapsed. She's so small, so cute. Why make her suffer so much? Why? June 1st. Ruyan, I'll finish. Today, I might not be able to write in my diary for a long time, because today, my blood will enter Guogua's body. From now on, when you hold Guogua, will you feel a bit like you're holding me? Silence. Everyone fell silent again. Ruyan was already sobbing uncontrollably. She couldn't stop no matter what. Yi Qiu, where is he? Why did he ask you to read these things? Is he okay now? Ruyan really wants to know about you. Ruyan can now smile and tell you, I don't hate you anymore, as the diary says. March 22nd. I remember back then, Guogua was about to be born. I didn't plan to look for a job at all. But that day, someone called me for an interview. I thought it was from my mass resume submissions. I went with a just try attitude. The interview went surprisingly smoothly. Even Ruyan herself was amazed. A single mother, pregnant and about to give birth. A soon-to-be mom about to take maternity leave. How could she possibly find a job? Now I know it was you. Shirtu was about to say, you're dying. Suddenly he gritted his teeth. He swallowed the words. She's fine. Maybe he never wanted you to know the diary's contents. But I think some things you should know. Shirtu lowered his head. He opened the diary again. September 11th. I didn't expect 3 months to pass in a flash. I thought I wouldn't make it. I didn't expect to come back to life. It's all thanks to you. Thanks to Guogua. Every time I want to give up, your figures appear in my mind. I want to be with you. I want to watch the sunrise and sunset with you. I want to watch Guogua grow up, even if it's just for one day. September 22nd. Bastard. I'm such a damn bastard. Ruyan, I saw you again today. I saw you carrying Guogua on your back, and you were washing dishes. The broken edge of a plate cut your hand. A lot of blood. It must have hurt. I wanted to go in and hug you, but I couldn't. I also didn't want you to see me lie this. I'm so Ruyan. I failed to protect you. I swear this is the last time. The last time I let you get hurt. October 2nd. Ruyan, you smiled. When was the last time I saw this smile? I've forgotten. Time is always a headache. It can take away so much. In the blink of an eye, we've been apart for over a year. We've both been through a lot this year. I'm no longer myself. You've also stopped smiling. But I think from today on, you'll smile often. Because you finally found a job you love. Chen Lu is an exceptionally good Mo-Dike producer. Her Mo-Dike company is also exceptionally good. She promised me she'll protect everything about you. I'm at ease. Time can change many things, but the only thing it can't change is my love for you. No, impossible. Hearing this, Ruyan suddenly interrupted Shirtu loudly. Impossible. Sister Chen couldn't know Yi Qiu. Those two have never had any connection. This diary is fake. It must be fake. Ruyan shouted. She didn't want to believe it was true. Myo Dike was his last dignity. When his life was in shambles, Myo Dike gave him the courage to lie. He always thought Mo Dike gave her a second life, so he didn't want to believe this was also arranged by me. Shirtu smiled. Lu Ruyan, you don't really naively think that funny shittery about being discovered by a talent scout on the street is real, do you? In the entertainment industry for so many years, that kind of thing can fool outsiders. Do you still believe it? Ruyan was stunned. Don't say that. Don't talk nonsense. Shitu's aggressiveness made Lingyu panic instantly. She shouted at the top of her lungs. What kind of person is Yichio? I've seen him before. He couldn't know someone like Sister Chen. And I think you're just a liar. You found this diary somewhere and added your own spin to it. Or maybe you and Yichio are in cahoots. What's your real purpose? Do you think because Ruyan abandoned him back then, you're here to get revenge now? You want to ruin Ruyan, right? Shirtu sneered. She thought this Lingyu was a lunatic. A complete lunatic. So there was no need to argue with a lunatic. Shirtu looked at Ruyan again. His eyes still cold. He asked, do you also think Yichio is trying to harm you? Ruyan shook her head violently. Then she said to Lingyu, Lingyu, don't talk nonsense. I believe Mr. Stone is not that kind of person. They're up to no good today. Even if Yichio did all these things, why would he say them in front of so many people? He clearly knows these things will spread to every corner of the competition. They want to ruin us. Lingyu became even more frantic. She was very dissatisfied with everything that happened today. Lingyu, stop it. Lu Ruyan was also a bit angry. What does it matter? We were planning to go public today anyway. I've hidden it for 5 years. I don't want to hide it anymore. As for my fans, I lop them. And I believe they will forgive and understand me. Ruyan composed herself and looked at Shirtu. Mr. Stone, please forgive my friend for being a bit impulsive earlier. Lu Ruyan is just an ordinary person, but I know the difference between kindness and hatred. I'm grateful for everything Yichio has done for me. If you still won't tell me where he is, or if he still doesn't want to see me, then please tell him I don't hate him anymore. From now on, our debts are settled. Of course, if he wants to see Guagua, I will agree to his right as a father. But that's all. Shirtu shook his head. He gave a bitter smile. I'll pass that on. But do you really not lop Yichio anymore? Shirtu still couldn't help asking. Does that even matter anymore? Ruyan said softly. If he still loved me, why hasn't he appeared in these 4 years? I believe Mr. Stone, and I believe Yichio has indeed had health problems these 4 years. But it's been 4 years. I've been in the industry for 4 years. No matter how bad his health was, it should be better by now. My schedule is public and transparent. But he never showed up once. Maybe he's already fallen in love with someone else. No, Shirtu shouted. Then he felt he was getting too excited. No, Yichio has been watching you all these years, and he's been helping you. Ruyan smiled faintly. Is Mr. Stone trying to say that my achievements over these 4 years were also arranged by Yichio? Did he arrange for me to become the top diva of Daxia? Did he make my fans lie me? Mr. Stone, do you think that's possible? I believe he did those earlier things, but after that, I relied on my own efforts. Everything about you is related to him. Do you believe that? Shitu's words made Ruyan laugh. She said with a smile, Mr. Stone, that's impossible. Are you trying to tell me that the reason I'm so popular now, the reason I became the top diva of Daxia, was also done by Yichio? Do you think that's possible? He could help me get into the industry. He could introduce me to Sister Chen. But could he help me get billions of fans to lie me? Could he sing any of my songs for me? Shirtu smiled faintly. Never underestimate a true genius. Everything he can do, ordinary people cannot. That doesn't mean he can't. Want to know what Yichio did? You have Sister Chen's number, don't you? You can ask her. The greatest benefactor of Ruyan's entertainment career shouldn't lie to you, right? Go ahead and call. You think I don't dare? Lingyu couldn't stand the provocation. She picked up the phone and found Chen Lu. But just as she was about to press the dial button, she suddenly hesitated. She turned to look at Ruyan, unsure if she should. Ruyan gritted her teeth and nodded. She also wanted to know the whole truth. Lingyu pressed the call button. After a few rings, the call was answered. Hello, Lingyu. What's up? Is Ruyan's event over? Did everything go smoothly today? Lingyu's tone became much more respectful. Sister Chen, sorry to bother you so late. There's a problem here with Ruyan. There's something I'd like to verify with you. What is it? Is it serious? Chen Lu's voice immediately sounded anxious. Nothing major. I just wanted to ask if you know a Mr. Yichio. Lingyu asked directly. There was sudden silence on the other end of the line. After a while, Yichio. Has he appeared? Did you see him? Everyone was shocked. Know him. They do know each other. Shirtu wasn't lying. No, Mr. Yi hasn't appeared. It's just that a Mr. Stone showed up. He said everything Ruyan has now was given by Mr. Yi. Ruyan wants to know if this is true. Lingyu's tone was tactful, but her question was direct. There was a chuckle on the other end. Is Shirtu there? Can I speak with him for a moment? Oh, cool. Lingyu nodded, her face somewhat grim. She pointed the phone towards Shirtu. Chen Lu actually called Shirtu Shirzong. It seemed the Shirtu in front of them was also a big shot. Could everything he just said really be true? But how did Yichio manage it? Lingyu couldn't figure it out, no matter how hard she thought. Shirzong, Is this all Mr. Ye's intention? Chen Lu asked directly on the other end. Although Ling Yu hadn't explained much, Chen Lu had already guessed most of what happened tonight. It wasn't my intention, Shitu said calmly. I think it's time everything came to light. Shitu's words caused another silence on the line. Chen Lu never expected that all of this was Shitu's own decision. I'll take responsibility for everything. President Chen, you just need to say what you know. Seeing Chen Lu wasn't speaking, Shitu added, sigh. Only then did a sigh come from the other end. Is Mr. Yi okay now? Chen Lu asked. She had a guess as to why Shitu was so urgent. There could only be one reason. That Yi Qiu might be dying. Yi Qiu is fine now. Chen Lu, why did you sign Rian back then? Was it because you saw her talent? Shitu didn't dwell on it. He couldn't dwell on Yi Qiu's problem. Instead, he asked the question everyone was most curious about. I promised I wouldn't tell Mr. Ye's secret. Chen Lu was still reluctant. I said I'll take full responsibility. Shitu was getting impatient. Chen Lu, this isn't fair to Yi Qiu. Do you want him to lie with regret forever? Yi Qiu has helped you a lot, hasn't he? Chen Lu was silent for a moment before sighing. Alright, I'll talk. Ruyan, you asked me if what Shitu said was true. Now I'll tell you. It's not just because of Mr. Yi that you got where you are. Not just everything you have now, but even your life. The fact that you're still alive and well in this world is all thanks to Mr. Yi. What? President Chen is talking in her sleep? Several people couldn't help but exclaim. They found it unbelievable. If it weren't for the fact that the speaker was the famous Chen Lu, they would have already started cursing. Ruyan was thunderstruck. She stood there numb and motionless. Sister Chen, isn't that a bit exaggerated? After a long time, Ruyan finally said slowly. Exaggerated? Chen Lu laughed. No, not at all. When Mr. Yi first recommended you to me, do you know what my reaction was? Mr. Yi and I had known each other for a while by then, but we didn't contact each other much. However, from our first meeting, I was captivated by Mr. Ye's talent. Then one day, Mr. Yi suddenly came to me and said he wanted to recommend an artist to me. Of course, I was very happy. I trusted Mr. Ye's judgment. I thought I'd found a gem, but I was disappointed. Ruyan, do you know what my reaction was? When I first saw your profile, I slammed the table. I'm a principled musician. I don't need a pretty face. I make myodaik with substance. And you, in my eyes at the time, were nothing but a worthless pretty face. Besides your looks, I couldn't see a single sign of talent. In my opinion, you shouldn't even be in the entertainment industry. Wow, many people looked at each other. The hottest female star today being evaluated as someone who shouldn't be in the industry. How ironic. Chen Lu's voice continued. At the time, I didn't spare Mr. Ye's feelings. I slammed the table. I felt he was insulting Myodaik and insulting me. For me, someone like Ruyan was practically desecrating my work. Ruyan's face also darkened, so her self-proclaimed talent was so worthless in others' eyes, and she had been so smug, thinking she was just a hidden gem for over 20 years, and Sister Chen had discovered her. It turned out she was the clown. Ruyan, don't be too upset. You did prove yourself later. My fondness for you is real, but that's how I felt back then. Chen Lu explained. After I slammed the table, Mr. Yi wasn't angry. Instead, he took out two things. The first was a SE transfer agreement for Xinghai Myodaik debt, the current Chen's Myodaik. He said if I agreed to take Dai Ruyan, Xinghai would be mine. At that time, Xinghai, though not very famous in the industry, was still a company worth tens of millions. Mr. Yi was as generous as ever. But I didn't take it. You didn't expect that, did you? Tens of millions were placed in front of me, and I wasn't tempted, because I always felt money was an insult to Myodaik. I got even angrier. Mr. Ye's contract was a blatant disrespect for my work. I make Myodaik for my dream. That's my original intention. So I sneered and tore that contract to pieces in front of Yi Qiu, as if he expected me to tear it up. He immediately took out another contract and placed it in front of me, along with a song. A very good song. But how could I give up my principles for that? Just as I was about to tear it all up a second time, Mr. Yi stopped me. The look in his eyes was full of pleading. You have to understand, at that time, Mr. Yi was a legendary figure in my eyes. I never imagined someone like him would have such a look. Mr. Yi said, President Chen, I've never owed anyone in my life, but I owe her. I can never repay it in this lifetime. Sign her. I'll take care of everything else. Please. The Mr. Yi I held in such high regard actually used the word please. I was very puzzled. In my opinion, no one was worth Mr. Yi doing that. So you agreed, right? So when you approached me, it was only because of Yi Qiu's influence, right? Ruyan asked. There was silence on the other end for a moment. Then a sigh slowly came through. Sigh. Debt. I couldn't bear that look. I agreed. Upon hearing this, Rian almost broke down. Her whole body was trembling. She was moved by Yichio's sacrifice, but what she couldn't bear even more was that what she was so proud of was something Yichio had begged for on his knees. She was just trash. Trash that Chen Lu wouldn't even look at. On the other end, Chen Lu spoke again. Her words seemed to conclude the matter. It can be said that without Yichio, there would be no Lu Ruyan in this world today. Hearing this, everyone was also shocked. Without Yichio, there would be no Lu Ruyan today. They still thought it was too exaggerated. Didn't Yichio just give Ruyan a chance? But it was Ruyan herself who seized the opportunity. If Ruyan didn't have the ability, how could she become the top person in the entertainment industry in 4 years? It's not something you can achieve with just resources. It also requires unparalleled talent. Lu Ruyan just listened quietly to these discussions, non-committal. For 4 years, she was the one who worked from dawn to dusk, bearing hardships without complaint. She was the one practicing songs late into the night. During that time, she almost ignored everything else to learn those damn instruments. Her fingers were scarred and bloody from the strings. She learned in 4 years what takes others over a decade. If that's not talent, what is? She had always been hailed as a once-in-a-century musical genius. She was very confident in her talent. When Chen Lu on the phone heard everyone's talk about talent, she suddenly sneered. Talent? Ridiculous, isn't it? Maybe it is a bit. Her voice is indeed good, but in any art school in Dacia, there are countless people with her vocal conditions. For someone who's been in Myo-dike for a long time, this condition is really too ordinary. I was very disappointed, but I couldn't resist Mr. Ye's request. I planned to meet you in person before making a decision. There was another reason. I was also curious about you. I wanted to know who this person was that Mr. Yi cared about so much. What kind of person were you? Mr. Yi said, his greatest wish in life was to be with you. To have a modest house. To have a modest car. And then go to work and come home together. Sunrise and sunset. Every minute, every season, together. If there could be another little life, that would be the best. But now he can't do it anymore. Mr. Yi said, he once promised the person he loved most to let him do what he loves most and become the brightest superstar. Hearing this, Rian's eyes reddened again. The first diva of Dacia. That was a joke they made. She never expected Yichio to always remember. Chen Lu continued. I was really interested in you back then, so I specifically found you and had you sing a song. But I was very disappointed. Your condition was really terrible. After listening to your performance, I went back to the company and called Mr. Yi. I told him I couldn't take this job. I didn't want to waste energy on someone unremarkable. But Mr. Yi didn't say anything else, just told me to sign you and then take you to record a song. It was the song Mr. Yi gave me back then. Not only that, Mr. Yi also bought the biggest Myo-dike promotion spot on the global Myo-dike platform to put up your first song. Do you know how much money Mr. Yi lost on that song? Conservative estimate, 8 figures, tens of millions. And that song directly affected Mr. Ye's Myo-dike company's reputation at the time. Including the evaporated market value, the loss was definitely over 100 million. That's impossible. Absolutely impossible. Ruyan finally couldn't take it anymore and shouted out. As a legend in the Dacia Myo-dike scene, in just 4 years, she won the honor of the first diva of Dacia. Lu Ruyan always thought it had a lot to do with her own talent. Even if her early works were immature, with many flaws in singing, it couldn't have been that bad. Absolutely impossible. Before anyone could refute, Chen Lu continued, it's not over yet. That incident made the shareholders, who were already uneasy, full of great distrust towards Mr. Yi. At the shareholder meeting, they almost removed Mr. Yi from his chairman position. Mr. Yi paid out of his own pocket to dilute shares, and only then calmed the storm. Chen Lu's voice didn't stop. Then, about 10 days later, he sent me an IMEO. It was densely packed with 100,000 words, full of suggestions for Ruyan. Strengths, weaknesses, what could be corrected through practice, and what were her weak points that needed to be avoided. He organized it and asked me to pass it to you. Hearing this, Rian's heart ached heavily again. That suggestion document, her impression of it was too deep. It almost made her re-understand herself and made her feel for the first time that Myo-dike is a skill. It could be said that one suggestion document saved her at least 10 years of detours. But she never expected that document was written by Yichio. She had been thanking the wrong person all these years. For the second song after that, Mr. Yi still organized all the suggestions and asked me to pass them on. To cultivate Ruyan, Mr. Yi lost several hundred million in total. This almost shook the foundation of Xanhai. Mr. Yi used Xanhai's reputation and fans to cultivate Ruyan. So I say, without Mr. Yi, there would be no Lu Ruyan today. Lu Ruyan, your so-called talent, is just something Mr. Yi bought with hundreds of millions and countless efforts. Everything you have is Mr. Ye's painstaking work, word by word. And that suggestion document became our future direction for cultivating Ruyan. Every song of Ruyan's plays to her strengths and avoids her weaknesses, choosing the most suitable melodies for her. That's why the world praises her talent endlessly. not knowing it's all a man-made arrangement. Someone just completely covered up her flaws. Chen-Lu finally said. After he spoke, the whole room was silent, dead silent. No one spoke anymore, and no one knew what else to say. Lop can be so great as to just be good to someone, without asking for anything in return. If what Chen-Lu said is true, then the resources Yi Qiu invested could definitely turn an ordinary person into a top star. So Ruyan's success really didn't have much to do with her talent. The so-called genius is just a man-made decoration. After knowing the truth, everyone lowered their heads, feeling slapped in the face. Is talent bought with money still talent? The most shocked was, of course, Ruyan. Her gaze was somewhat dazed at this moment. So the talent she was always proud of was actually this ridiculous. So the man she always hated had actually been helping her all along. So for all these years, her life seemed without Yi Qiu, but was full of Yi Qiu's presence everywhere, so he had always deeply loved her. But why hasn't Yi Qiu shown up until now? Why couldn't he appear just once in all these years? Ruyan's tears fell. This time, it wasn't because of grievance, but truly because of being moved by Yi Qiu's dedication. Many people in the room also silently sobbed, maybe thinking of someone they once gave everything for, or maybe they had also given Lai this before. In this silent atmosphere, a piece of Myo Dike slowly played. Many recognized it immediately. It was another song by Ruyan, a sad Lop song. When the song's name came to mind, many suddenly had the answer. They seemed to understand why Yi Qiu had such a crazy dedication. Everything, just because he loves you too much. Just love you too much. The lyrics slowly rose with Ruyan's voice. Forgive me, I'm really drunk. Because I really miss you. Accidentally, I'm swallowed by loneliness, the joy of loving you. I know this shouldn't be. And I know you'll get hurt. I just don't want to rely on you too much anymore. The gentle, low voice seemed to tell their she to re, and also seemed to comfort herself, telling herself not to lop. Was this Yi Qiu's true feelings? This thought suddenly popped into many people's minds. So Yi Qiu, in every quiet night, also missed someone to the point of wanting to die. Also thought of someone, to the point of heartbreak. So he also wished he could be Fry, hoping alcohol could numb his nerves, and let him temporarily forget Ruyan. Ruyan's tears burst forth, uncontrollable. This song, wasn't it also about him? Wasn't she the same? Countless nights, alone, facing the sky, not daring to close her eyes, not daring to sleep, afraid Yi Qiu would appear unexpectedly in her dreams. If the dream is too beautiful, waking up will wet the pillow. The next day, she'd still be alone, bearing everything. Ruyan remembered once, after a fight, they just made up. Ruyan asked Yi Qiu, if there's a next life, what do you want to be? Anything but a person. A ring, glasses, a bed. Ruyan asked him, what's the point of being those things in the next life? You can buy me back. By your side, it's always meaningful. This is a shittery sadder than sadness. But now, Ruyan really wants to ask him loudly, since you lot me, why only silently protect me? Why don't you show up? Do you know, as long as you're by my side, it's always meaningful? The song continued. I understand. The lop you give is real. It's just that I don't know how to lop. That's why I made you want to leave. Because I don't know if I can meet you in the next life. That's why in this life, I try so hard to give you the best. Loving you has become hurting you. Our lop is almost suffocating. Not on purpose, just loving you too much. So this is why Yi Qiu used everything to support Ruyan. So this is the reason for giving, without asking for anything in return. Some things aren't because he doesn't lop you. On the contrary, it's just loving too much. Everyone completely broke down crying. No one could be unmoved by this scene. Everyone might have such an experience. Ruyan crouched down at this moment, crying so much she couldn't stand. Regret? How could there not be regret? She hadn't seen Yi Qiu propose on one knee. Hadn't seen Yi Qiu working to support her in Guogua. Hadn't seen Yi Qiu loving her even when old. How could she not regret? Where is he? Where is Yi Qiu? Ruyan had lost count of how many times she'd asked this today. She still didn't understand why Yi Qiu still wouldn't show up. According to Stone, his health should have improved somewhat. Shouldn't be too weak to even meet. But why doesn't he appear? If he appears, would you still be with him? Chen Lu didn't answer her question, but suddenly asked her back. Hearing this, Ruyan was struck like lightning, frozen in place. If he came back, could she still lop him wholeheartedly? Lie before. Could they go back to the past? Those painful days. She barely survived them for 5 years. Ruyan used every way no one knew to forget. How many nights? Ruyan raised a glass to the past, a toast telling herself not to look back even if she loves, just hoping to gather enough disappointment soon to start anew. Finally, she wore down all her confidence. She gathered enough disappointment. Her heart was dead. And she wouldn't lop anymore. Then Yi Qiu appears and tells her, he's been silently watching her for 5 years? What does that mean? Why does he think he can use these self-righteous touches, self-indulgence, to say the hurt wasn't hurt? But what about her pain all these years? Being a single mom taking care of a child while developing a career, who helped her? Even if she's moved now, can these hardships be forgiven? Before Ruyin could answer, Lin Yu had already shouted out. No, impossible. Lin Yu yelled. Even if Yi Qiu helped Ruyin, it can never make up for the harm he caused her. Never. For Yi Qiu, Ruyin lived in deep water for these 4 years. Back then, Ruyin was penniless, with a hungry Bi to care for. During that time, Ruyin lost over 10 pounds. She was already fragile, and after losing weight, she became even more delicate. Several times, she collapsed right at her workplace. Because of Yi Qiu, Ruyin almost broke ties with her parents. Uncle Lu is naturally strong-willed and cares most about face, and his daughter was pregnant out of wedlock and wanted to keep the Bi. Do you know what that's called where they're from? It's called a slut. This made Ruyin completely lose face in front of her family, and also made her neighbors, who grew up with her, gossip. She bore this for 5 years. A full 5 years. These experiences? Even a strong man might not be able to bear them, let alone a woman. While you're all moved by Yi Qiu's actions, has anyone thought about whether Ruyin had it easy? Hasn't Ruyin suffered these 5 years? Lin Yu's words were piercing, leaving everyone speechless. Lin Yu's words also made Ruyin's feelings very complicated. The past replayed Liamu 6, flashing clearly in her mind. Ruyin shook her head, tried to steady herself, and then slowly spoke. Sister Chen, it's impossible. Ruyin doesn't want to lop anyone else in this life. But Sister Chen, no matter what, I thank you for your guidance these 4 years. I don't know how Yi Qiu did it, but everything you did, I truly saw with my own eyes. Thank you, Sister Chen. I beg you, tell me, where is Yi Qiu now? Everything from all these years? It can't be solved by a diary or your brief ode sao. I want to ask him myself. I want to hear the answer from his own mouth. On the other end of the phone, Chen Lu gave a bitter laugh. The laugh was full of helplessness. On the other end of the phone, Chen Lu gave a bitter laugh. The laugh was full of helplessness.